Once upon a time, there were many small kingdoms under a great empire. One such small kingdom was Devgad. The rulers of these small kingdoms were called Diwans. Sujan Singh, who was the Diwan of Devgad, had grown very old. Therefore, he went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, I have served as your Diwan for 40 years. Now, I wish to devote myself to the worship of God. Please grant me permission. Moreover, I have grown very old, and my body has weakened. I do not have the strength to manage the affairs of the state. If I make any mistake in this old age, it will bring disgrace to my administration. The good name I have preserved all my life will be ruined." The king held immense respect for Diwan Sujan Singh, who was known for his experience and righteousness. The king repeatedly requested Sujan Singh to continue as the Diwan, but he refused. Accepting his defeat, the king granted Sujan Singh permission to retire, but with one condition: before leaving, Sujan Singh had to select a new Diwan for Devgad. The next day, all the newspapers in Devgad carried the following advertisement: "A suitable Diwan is needed for Devgad. If anyone thinks they are suitable for this position, they should meet Diwan Sujan Singh in person. It is not necessary to be a graduate for this position, but one must be strong and robust in appearance." The actions and habits of those aspiring for the Diwan position would be monitored for a month. Their educational qualifications were not a concern, but their sense of duty would be evaluated. Those who succeeded in this test would be deemed worthy of the Diwan position. Everyone in the town was talking about this advertisement, saying that such a prestigious position would only be available to the fortunate. Hundreds of people were ready to test their luck. Various kinds of people were seen all over Devgad. Hundreds arrived by every train to compete for the Diwan position. Some came from Punjab, while others came from Chennai. Some were lovers of sophistication, while others preferred simplicity. Even scholars competed for this position. People with various talents gathered in Devgad, with a large number of graduates among them. Diwan Sujan Singh made excellent arrangements for the accommodation and food of those who came for the competition. All the candidates stayed in their assigned rooms, counting the days like a fasting Muslim for the month-long period. Each candidate tried to show their best qualities through their actions, according to their abilities, to prove they were the most suitable for the position. One of the candidates for the Diwan position, who never woke up before 8 a.m. at home, started waking up at dawn to enjoy the sunrise in the Diwan's garden. Another candidate, who had a habit of smoking, struggled all day to control it and secretly smoked at night after closing all the windows. Some candidates, who were used to bossing around their servants, began addressing them respectfully as "Sir" and "Master" after coming here. One candidate, who was an atheist and strongly opposed to the idea of God, started behaving very devoutly, to the extent that the local priest feared for his job. Another candidate, who hated reading books, began reading large religious texts. All the candidates behaved in such a manner that anyone who spoke to them would think they were the most humble and well-mannered individuals. The people of Devgad were amazed to see all this. However, they wondered who would stay here after the Diwan was selected and the month-long excitement was over. An elderly man was observing all the candidates to identify the swan among the ducks. One day, the candidates suggested organizing a hockey match. Those who knew how to play hockey could participate. Who knows, those who played well might even be selected as the Diwan. The date for the hockey match was set, and a hockey court was arranged. The game began, and the ball was hit around like new apprentices in an office. Hockey was new to everyone in Devgad. Educated and good people usually played chess and cards, thinking that running around on a field was a child's game. The match was very exciting and lively. When the hockey players hit the ball out of the court, the spectators would pick it up and run back to the field, shouting. The players would stand like an iron wall, preventing the crowd from entering the field. The hockey game continued excellently until sunset. Everyone was drenched in sweat and played with great effort, but it was impossible to determine the winner or loser. Darkness enveloped the area. A little distance from the field, there was a canal without a bridge. Those who passed that way had to walk through the canal. The game had just ended, and the players were resting on one side. At that moment, a farmer came near the canal with a cart full of grain sacks. He lowered his cart into the canal, which was muddy. The oxen struggled to pull the cart out of the canal. The farmer pushed the oxen from behind and rolled the wheels with his hands, but the weight of the grain sacks was too much. The oxen couldn't pull the cart out, and even if they managed to climb a little, the cart would slip back into the canal. The farmer tried many times to lift the cart, even hitting the oxen, but the cart wouldn't budge. He looked around to see if anyone could help, but there was no one. He couldn't leave the cart there and go anywhere, so he was stuck in a difficult situation. At that moment, the hockey players were walking back to their place, twirling their hockey sticks. The farmer looked at them with great pity, but he didn't have the courage to ask for help. The players saw the farmer standing there, but they had no sense of charity. Their hearts were filled with pride, mockery, and selfishness. There was not an ounce of love or compassion in them. However, among the group of hockey players, there was one man filled with courage and kindness. That day, while playing hockey, he had injured his leg and was walking slowly with a limp. By chance, his gaze fell on the cart, and he was shocked. Seeing the farmer beside the cart, he understood everything. He placed his hockey stick aside, removed his coat, and approached the farmer, asking, "Shall I help you get your cart out?" The farmer, seeing a tall, thin man, was hesitant and said, "Sir, how can I ask you for help?" The young man replied, "I understand that you have been stuck in this canal for a long time. You sit on the cart and drive the oxen, and I will push the wheels from behind." As the young man suggested, the farmer sat on the cart and drove the oxen. The young man gathered all his strength and pushed the wheels. His legs sank into the mud up to his knees, but he didn't give up and continued to push with all his might. The farmer urged the oxen, and with the help they received, the oxen gained courage. They bent their necks and pulled the cart with all their strength, finally lifting it out of the canal. Once the cart was out, the farmer folded his hands in gratitude and thanked the young man. "Tonight, you came like a god and saved me. Otherwise, I would have had to spend the whole night near this canal," he said. The young man then asked the farmer, "Will you give me a reward?" The farmer, in a strong voice, replied, "If God wills, you will get the position of Diwan." The young man looked closely at the farmer and began to suspect that he might be Diwan Sujan Singh himself. The farmer's voice and facial features resembled Sujan Singh's. Understanding the young man's suspicion, Sujan Singh said, "Only by diving into deep waters can one find pearls." The month-long wait was over, and the day to select the Diwan had arrived. All the candidates eagerly awaited their fate, finding it difficult to pass the day. Their faces alternated between hope and doubt. No one knew who would be lucky, who would receive the grace of Goddess Lakshmi. In the evening, the king's court was decorated. Wealthy people, businessmen, royal servants, palace ministers, and the candidates for the Diwan position, all dressed in colorful clothes, were seated in the court. Diwan Sujan Singh addressed the assembly. "Candidates for the Diwan position, I apologize for the hardships I have caused you. This position requires a person with both compassion and inner strength. A heart must have compassion to be called a heart, and inner strength is needed to face dangers with courage. Fortunately, we have found such a young man for this Diwan position. People with such qualities are rare in this world. They will reach the pinnacle of fame and, more importantly, will reside in the hearts of the people. I am pleased to announce Pandit Janakinath as the Diwan." Congratulations to Janakinath! The wealthy and influential people present looked at Pandit Janakinath with great respect, while the other candidates looked on with envy. Sujan Singh continued, "I believe there will be no objection to appointing Pandit Janakinath as the Diwan." Despite being injured, he helped the poor farmer lift his cart full of grain sacks out of the canal. His heart is filled with courage, inner strength, and compassion. Such a person can truly understand the sufferings of the poor. He will not trouble ordinary citizens. His decisions will be firm, and his intellect steady. He may be deceived by others, but he will never stray from the path of compassion and righteousness. Therefore, Pandit Janakinath is the right person for this Diwan position.